Yeah, all you have to do is tap it, I think.
Ladies.
What's wrong with it? That must be echo. That's my friend, Laura. Make sure you say hey to him.
You're on this.
Make sure you say hey to him. Say hey to Laura. Say hey to Laura.
Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? All right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have I will give you a general area of where this is at. The lady would like to remain anonymous. We will call her the Southern Belle. And if you have questions, please take your time and write the question out. Address the question to me, and I'll read it to her, and we'll try to get an answer for it. So the general area of this is Sanford, North Carolina. That's about as close as I'm going to get, guys. I have to respect her privacy. So tonight, here on the Old Bear's Den of Bigfoot, we're going to start the live feed, and I hope each and every one of you enjoy this. And if you got friends, give them a call and tell them to come on over. And give us a like tonight, and this will be uploaded and on my page after the show is over. As soon as I can get it up, I'll have it up. Now tonight, like I was saying, we have the Southern Belle here tonight with us, and I'm going to ask her to tell her story. Listen to her story. It's pretty interesting, and after the story is over, I'm going to tell y'all, if you looked at the video that I put out earlier today, you'll see some of the evidence that I found, but I'm going to critique that evidence as best I can. I'm not the best investigator in the world, and anybody that wants to contact me and talk about it, well, you sure can do that. So, Southern Belle, I appreciate you coming tonight, and I'm overjoyed to get your story of seeing Bigfoot. Say hello to the crowd and let them hear your southern twang.
Hi, y'all. First of all, I want to say thanks, Ralph and Barbie, for coming down. I really appreciate it. My story goes back starting 2 years ago in August of 2017. I moved out into this new place. It's very isolated. I have trees all around me. My backyard's nothing but bamboo. No, I did not plant it. It was already there. And when I first moved here, I had a roommate, and her and I would sit out here and laugh and make Bigfoot jokes, and do some whoops and howls and, and wood knocks. And we never thought anything of it. It was ha ha, laugh, laugh. Well, I guess the laugh's really on me. I guess I was here for about a week, and I was talking to my best friend in Charlotte, and she said, oh, send me a picture of the bamboo. Well, I took her the picture of the bamboo, and she sent it back wanting to know what was in my bamboo. And keep in mind, at no point am I thinking Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the old man in the woods, nothing like that. I joked it off, didn't take it serious. So a month goes by, and I'm sitting out here, and my roommate was coming in at 1:30 in the morning, and she was still leery about walking across the yard because it's very dark in some areas. I said, no problem, I'll come outside and sit. I went out here 3 seconds before I heard a deep guttural primal howl. And I couldn't tell you the distance. What's the distance, do you think, from where I was sitting? Because it was right there.
I would say probably no more than about 40 to 50 feet at the max.
Yeah. I was that close to it. Well, let me just say that the hair on the back of my neck stood up, hair on my arms, and I vibrated from the inside out. It took me no time to run into the house, and trust me, Old Bear and Miss Barbie saw how fast I could move last night. I can move fast. Fast forward another couple of months, my roommates moved out. I'm here by myself, which I love. And I always sit outside at night, not a problem. So one evening I had gone back in, and I saw this big shadow go across my picture window. Now, still keep in mind, after the growl, the picture in the back, I'm still not thinking, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, no nothing. Well, that shadow unnerved me. And if you saw how my yard is proportioned to my street and how the tree line blocks everything, it's not a car that I saw going by my window. I got up the next day and I had a huge footprint in front of my picture window. That got me thinking. I had no more activity from, I guess, November to late winter, early spring. And this is now, I would say, April of 2018, somewhere around there. Well, my tree line to the right side of my home, if you're looking towards the street, if you're looking at the house, it's on the left-hand side. I went outside at 10 minutes to 5 in the morning. I was going to drink my coffee, wait for the sun to rise, and talk to my best friend, which I talk to every day. When I took my first step on my first step, I stopped. I heard the heaviest footfall I had ever heard in my life. And I kept thinking, man, am I going to see a bear? And then I said, no, that's two-legged. And then I thought to myself, well, a person can't run in there, not that fast. I heard limbs being broke, snapped in two, and it kept getting closer and closer. It's coming from the back of my house up on the side. And then all of a sudden, it was underneath my dusk to dawn light. And when I say, I looked at that thing and I thought, that's not a bear. That's not a deer. And I thought, man, it's got two legs, two arms. Man, it's covered in hair. My brain couldn't process what I was looking at. By the time it jumped the ditch, and when I say it jumped the ditch, it took it in one stride. And it's uphill, the ditch is, and it's very wide, and it's up higher. Let me just say, I went back in the house and walked around 15 minutes in shock. What I saw, and at the time I was saying about what, 8.5 feet, because I'm not very good with height.
Yeah, I remember correctly. Yeah, you did say 8.5 feet.
But I always thought I was off. So, let me just tell you, this thing we found out because we measured was what, closer to 10.5 feet?
It's closer to 12 foot.
Well, I told you I'm bad. It was a dark blonde to a light brown. It had shorter hair. I have seen longer haired ones, and we'll get to that one. This one had shorter type hair. But the muscle definition through his shoulders, shoulder blades, his gluteus maximus was very well defined. His thigh muscles, I've never seen anything like it before. I had nothing to compare it to.
Now, let me ask you this. Can you compare it to like a bodybuilder like Schwarzenegger was? Or
Okay, if you look at the muscle definition, they don't come close to what I was looking at. When this thing moved, I could see all the muscle movement in its back, the spine. It was enormous. Arnold Schwarzenegger would be like a toothpick beside what I saw. Andre the Giant doesn't even come close. And that was a big man.
Well, you've seen Andre the Giant and you've seen The Big Show. Would both of them standing side by side be close to the width? Or would it be a little bit less?
Andre the Giant would not be wide enough.
Well, The Big Show, from wrestling and Andre together standing side by side. Would that be about the width of the back that you saw?
What would you say about?
That looks like about 5.5.
About 5.5 feet wide at the shoulder. Yeah.
Okay. Now, on that Bigfoot, you said it had short hair. What do you mean by short hair? Was it 2 or 3 inches long hair?
No, it was more like 1.5 inches.
Now,
maybe 2 inches.
What time of year was this again?
This was late winter, early spring, because the foliage had not filled in yet.
Okay, so the leaves had started coming out.
The leaves have not started yet. That's how early, spring, late winter it was.
Okay.
And as you can see with the dusk to dawn light, how much my yard is actually lit up.
Yeah, it is pretty lit up where we're at.
Um, and so when the foliage isn't filled in like it is now, you have a clear view, and my light shines over there.
Yeah.
So I did not misidentify what I saw. It was not a bear. A bear does not move as fast as an Olympic sprinter. This thing could move.
Mm-hmm.
It shook the ground when it was running. It was shaking me while I was standing on the stairs. So we go through a few months into I guess it was early fall of 2018.
Okay.
My next sighting.
Okay.
I was sitting outside. It was late afternoon. I guess it was about 4:30.
Uh-huh.
And the road that I live off of, transfer trucks sometimes cut through to get on 64. And you see how much through traffic I can get.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of traffic during the day, but when it's evening, you get once in a while after about 7, 8 o'clock.
So the transfer truck was coming, and it was fairly loud. When I looked up, the creature that I saw, and it was dark and it had longer hair, it was nothing like the first one I saw. Completely different. It was more like the photo that I had taken in my backyard. It slapped the tree, and I've showed Old Bear the tree, the actual tree. And I've seen birds land on top and it ping-pong back and forth. A little bit. This thing didn't. This thing swayed from side to side heavily.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. The tree is through the middle of it, in the biggest part of the tree, it's about 4 to 5 inches thick. Go ahead.
And when it swatted it, because it got upset because the transfer truck was coming into the line of vision where it was watching me. Mm-hmm. And I caught it when it swatted the tree because it got mad and it went off. That's my third sighting. Now, since the sightings, I've had it swap the back of my house many occasions that I've told you about, Ralph.
Yeah.
Where it's waking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Mind you, I no longer sleep in the back of the house. I sleep in front of the house now. I've heard wood knocks.
Mm-hmm.
But the most I can tell you is that I hear whistling around 1:30 to 3 o'clock in the morning around my windows. And it is a loud whistle. It's not a person. I cannot describe to you the difference in it. One of my latest things is peeking through my kitchen window.
Yeah, and your kitchen window is about 8 foot off the ground.
Right. And I was at my computer, and it was late night, and I heard the footsteps because I had my window up. And you think 8 feet in the ground, you're pretty safe. Where I heard the footfalls. And again, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. The hair on my arms. And I could not bring myself to turn around because I knew what was there. I may not have seen it. But I knew it was there. And I just got up and went into the other part of the house. As if I didn't know it was there. Now, I did forget one thing. When I first moved here, I thought I had a septic problem. I would come out early in the morning and I could smell like what I thought was sewage. To the point that my landlord come out to have it checked and there was nothing wrong with it. And keep in mind, on the earlier days, I wasn't thinking Bigfoot or associating the smell to it.
Okay.
And it's a stench that like I said, I thought it was my septic tank.
You thought the smell was like a septic tank?
Oh, it was horrible, but it was like a lingering smell. It wasn't like it was
like it was standing right there.
Right.
It was just something they passed through and emitted
and
a
I
smell.
could still smell it, and I kept thinking it was the septic. but it wasn't, because I was out here drinking my coffee like I do every morning. And of course, I've had 4 sightings, but I'll let Ralph tell you about the fourth sighting.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. So let me ask you some questions
Hmm.
about the second one. Did you notice the color of the hair on the second one?
Yeah, it was dark. You remember the photo that I shared with the
Right.
group? It was that color. It was very dark brown to black. It was shaggy. It had shaggy hair. I could see the hair hanging from the arms on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I saw it when it swatted the tree.
Okay. Now, when you shared a picture in on my Discord channel, uh, and in that picture, if you look at it, which I will try to borrow the picture from her, and I'll have to edit out, location and stuff like that, guys. But they, if you look at the picture and look at it in the back, in the bamboo area, now the bamboo was further back than it is now. It it showed you see a big dark figure, and this is what time of day that you took this
This was
picture?
early morning, but it was light. It was summertime at this point. And like I said, I had just been here. This was in August. I had just
Uh-huh.
moved here, so it was still summer. And I guess I won't here about a week. And my girlfriend and I were talking, my best friend in
Right.
Charlotte, and she said, "Well, send me a picture of it." And I'm halfway my yard, and you know how far back my backyard goes.
Right.
I was a good distance, so I just held up the phone and snapped. I wasn't looking about where I was taking the photo. Well, like I said, I always believed in the possibility, but I joked about it when I moved here.
You don't joke now, do you?
Hell no. It's not joking. But you can see, not every sighting that people see is a Bigfoot. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no way I mistook what I saw.
Okay.
And I have to live with what I saw every single day. I have a
Right.
hard time sitting outside at night. I have you here. I have Barbara here with me.
Right.
And what state was I in last night the first time I actually sat out here?
Well, guys, I'll put it to you this way. If you've ever went rabbit hunting and use hounds, when rabbits hear hounds, they tend to get flighty. They get really kind of jumpy. She was shaking last night, and just about every sound, she didn't get to hear the first wood knocks, but we heard a few different sounds that Bigfoot makes, and she was ready to run inside, lock the door, and curl up underneath a blanket. That's how scared she was last night. So it has affected her to the point that, well, it's affected her to the point where she no longer sits out in her yard. When it starts getting dark, she goes inside, and she shouldn't have to live that way. So that's basically why I came down. I don't want a friend. She's my friend, and she's one of my Discord members, and she's a subscriber to this channel. And if that happens to any of my subscribers, let me know. I will do everything in my power to make sure that they get the message to leave you alone. And that's part of the reason I came down, to not only find evidence to back up her story, but to also give her yard back.
But tell them how long, once it got dark, once we got sitting out here, after we did some preliminaries,
Mm-hmm.
did you start having activity?
Within 30 minutes to 45 minutes at the most. They started making little sounds, like mimicking, certain types of game that I know as a hunter is already went to bed. And then after she went inside, they did a wood knock, and my wife looked at me and said, "Did you hear that?" And I said, "Yeah, it's a wood knock." And that wasn't more than about 100 yards the most from us. And she's alluded to some of the activity that we had last night. Well, we had wood knocks, we had
Growls, grunts.
growls and
Whoops.
grunts, and we heard a few whoops last night. We also had sticks thrown at us from across the road.
What about the whistling? You finally heard it.
And then right before we left last night, we heard whistling. So, guys, if you have any questions you would like to ask in the chat.
Don't forget about the sighting.
We'll get to that. We're going to save that little piece for here in a little bit. And then after we answer some questions, we will most assuredly discuss the sighting that we had last night. So, yeah, that's true, Ashton. They do seem to get upset when you have someone new come around.
No, I don't keep garbage out. Tell them I take it to the dump daily.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't put any garbage or anything like that out. She doesn't gift. They just seem to hang around because she has blonde hair and she's a pretty Southern belle. So I've found that blonde hair, women that have blonde hair, long blonde hair, they seem very attracted to that for some reason. No, she does not have any pets going outside. That's a good question, open-minded.
No. No
Yeah.
pets. No. No. I, I limit my time at night outside. I made promises to my best friend that I wouldn't leave early in the morning to go to the store or late at night. And I used to, it was nothing for me to get my car if I was out of a drink or anything, to get in my car at 2 o'clock in the morning and ride to the convenience store.
Yeah, but you don't do that now.
No, because I'm not a scared type of person. Like I said, I'm not afraid to live here. I love where I live at. I don't like the toning that they do because I know they're there. And I know a lot of people will never believe that they exist if they don't see it. But all I can tell you is be careful what you wish for, because once you see something, you cannot unsee.
Right.
And I have a pet peeve, which I've talked to Ralph about before, haven't I?
Yeah.
Some of the most sightings people are not prepared for to begin with. I'm not outside doing an investigation looking for one. I never thought I would ever see one. No, I did not have a camera handy because I wasn't expecting to see one. I wasn't hunting one.
Right.
And to me, that is the most silliest question. Well, where's the picture? Where's the picture? I wasn't looking for one when I saw it. And most sightings, probably about 98% of all sightings, people are not prepared to take a photo. And your brain cannot process what you are looking at. I don't care how many videos you see on YouTube, whether it's the Patterson Gimlin, the Hoffman, the Freeman, and those three I'll give credence to that I think are truly authentic. It did not prepare me for seeing the real thing.
Right.
Um,
Joey, TR21X, I see your question, and no, it's not a single Bigfoot
no,
because she's seen different Bigfoot with different colored hair, different sizes, and that she's seen one that was like a blonde, a light brown, maybe like a dirty blonde collar. She's seen one with a black or very dark brown hair collar, and the one that we seen here last night, it was in the dark collar, but it was not a 12-foot Bigfoot.
mm-mm.
It wasn't, 10, 11 feet tall. This one was probably 7 to 8 feet, maybe 9 foot at the tallest. We're glad to have you there, Eli Rosa Estevez. And Jimmy, you're right. They do like females, period, but women with blonde hair seem to attract them a lot more than anything else. No, she does not leave gifts.
No.
That is something that when I first met her and heard her story and talked to her about it, I warned her about that. I've been chasing these things since I was 16 years old, and I'm now 51. So 35 years of this, I know not to let anybody leave a gift. Gifting will cause you trouble. The moment you have to stop because of your health, or you have to stop because you can't afford to do it anymore, they take that as an offense. They throw temper tantrums like kids, and it will cause a lot of trouble for anyone. Ashton, yeah, sure. I mean, I can come and tell them that, and I can come and show them. But the only thing is if we do that, they won't be around anymore. It may take leaving them little surprises, but we can get them out of your area if that's what you would like. Open-minded. In my estimation, there's probably 5 to 6 in this area.
But I don't think they mean me harm.
No, I don't think they mean her harm. I
No,
think they
no.
just like, she's like their personal television right now. And as long as she doesn't gift, she shouldn't have any trouble.
Well, I think they know I'm alone also.
Yeah, they leave you, they don't come up and bother you because you are alone.
Right.
Now, if you would have a boyfriend or something like that come over and stay,
That won't happen.
well, I understand that. She's a Christian lady, guys. So, but it's hypothetically, if you have someone that's of the opposite sex come over and start hanging around a lot, they seem to get a little bit upset. And yeah, I think they got a little bit upset last night because I was here and I'm carrying. And they know what a gun is. And I'm not afraid to stand to one and shoot it point blank if need be. Anybody else? That's right, Ashton. They don't like gentlemen callers at all. And Jimmy, if you ever do get to see one, it'll change your life, my friend.
Yes, it will.
Now, we've alluded to seeing one last night.
Tell them what all you found when you got here, though. Just the evidence.
Well, okay.
Let's start with that, because I found the new path, remember?
Yeah, she did notice a new path last night, and I went over and checked it out. And if you look at the video that I posted earlier today, you will see the size of the footprint compared to my foot. And I have a size 14 shoe on, which is 14 inches long. Where the toes were at, I had my heel. And from the end of my shoe, there was a good 4 to 5 inches more of the foot to the back of its heel. So that makes it a 19 or 20 inch print. That means it's probably a Bigfoot that probably is in the range of 1,000 pounds. And right beside the footprint, we found a small little hide. When I say small, it wasn't the normal big ones that you would see, that you've seen on Finding Bigfoot or people showing pictures of other places. This is like a hide that they use to observe or to hunt. And yeah, right, Jimmy, we are their entertainment. We are their television at night. And some of the other evidence that I found in behind her house was from the Bigfoot that was there last night in the bamboo. And I seen where it got up and took off after I took the light off from it. Now, the Bigfoot that we saw last night in the bamboo was squatted down. And the only reason I saw it's because it was sitting there squatted down and looked at me, and I hit it with the light at the right time and saw the eye shine. And then I picked out the head and the shoulders and the arms down on top of its thighs, sitting there looking at me. And it turned, and I got my better half and the Southern Belle to come over and take a look, and she saw it automatically, and it took a little bit for my wife to see it. It actually left, and then when I showed my wife the same exact spot, it registered in her mind because she's not ever seen one. And
I had no problem.
yeah, she had no problem seeing them because
The
she's seen them
eyeshine,
before
the
here.
head, it was at a profile angle, and it had to move its body. And when it moved its body, you could see the brow ridge, you could see the eyes, the shoulder, and it was just like it was frozen where it was at. Like it didn't, like a statue. It didn't want us to really know that it was there, even though we could see the eye shine.
Yeah, if you don't move, they act that if you don't move, people can't see you. They don't know that we have, we don't have very good night vision. Most people don't, but we can see a little bit at night. But with the aid of a flashlight and everything like that, it's not too bad. Yeah, Vaughn, I see that you live near Birmingham. Well, Vaughn, I hate to tell you this, but they've been there a lot more than just recently. There's a bunch of reports out of Alabama, all over Alabama, actually.
Keep in mind, for every one reported, there's probably 20 people out there that have seen and not given a report because of the ridicule.
Yeah, people, I can really tell you about that. I've got family that looks at me and just, they don't laugh in my face, but they laugh behind my back, but I don't mind it. I can't reverse seeing the first one when I was 16, and it's something you just can't change in your life. It changes you from your mindset. It affected me for 4 or 5 years when I seen my one at age 16. I didn't get out before daylight like I used to. I quit doing that. I still don't like to, but I know what to look for, and if I see the signs, I don't go out before daylight. And I watch over my boys whenever they're hunting with this old man of theirs, and I don't let them get out.
I like to say this, And just keep in mind, I'm not here to convince anybody that they exist. I already know that they exist. I happen to be in the knowing category. And people can put their head in the sands and say it doesn't exist. That's entirely up to you. I can tell you, I won't go hiking by myself anymore. And I love photography. And I don't do that anymore. Nature photography. I won't go camping unless it's a log cabin. Our RV would not be good enough for me now. But it's not for me to convince you. All I can tell you is that I know they're real. They've been here. Go to the Native American, how they depicted on the stones, their oral traditions. That's how they keep up with their history. How can you not say they're not real? That's how their history has been passed down. And, and that's proof in itself. If you don't believe, or if you don't at least have the possibility in believing something, I'm here to tell you, they are real, they're here. I don't want to see one dead so a scientist can say, oh yeah, they're real. But at the same token, I will tell you this. We're no match for them whatsoever. And I'll tell Ralph, I've seen them 4 times now. I'm done. I don't care if I ever see another one.
Yeah.
I make no bones about it. Anybody that truly sees one and they want to go and start hunting them, I have reservations, and I've said this, whether or not they actually seen one as close as I did. Now, mind you, when I first said I saw it run by my house, I was saying, 30 yards?
Yeah.
How close was I actually?
You're within 35 feet.
35 feet that thing passed by me. I did not misidentify what I saw.
Jimmy, I appreciate the compliment on the live feed. Thank you very much. And Lady in the Woods, they're not aggressive beyond slapping her house or maybe growling once in a while. They don't bother her. They were a little more aggressive last night, making noises, wood knocks, and growling and grunting at me last night because I'm here, and I don't go anywhere there's a Sasquatch without carrying a handgun. That could have been provocation enough for them for making those types of noises. But yeah, they're non-aggressive towards her, other than slapping the back of the house once in a while.
And I think that's because I don't give them attention.
Yeah, she does not. Just like that night you were sitting at your computer in your kitchen.
I just got up like I didn't act, like I heard it, like I didn't have no feeling. I just did it nonchalantly, just got up out of the chair and went to the living room. Even though inside I was shaking and the hair on the back of my neck and my arms stood up. I know they're there. I just act like, okay, they were here when I moved here. They've been here before I moved here. People, when y'all go hiking, they're out in the woods. You may not see them, smell them. And let me just tell you, the one we saw last night, we did not smell. The one that ran by my house did not smell. Now, have I had a smell lingering in my front yard? Yes, because I thought it was my septic tank. So yes, I think how can I say it? When they want to, their glands.
Yeah, they can emit the classic smell of a skunk that's been dead for 7 days and all of a sudden pops open, and mixed with sewer that's been backed up for a month. They can emit that smell on demand, I do believe. And that's a lot of people say that might be for them to ward you off, or it might be something to do with a female Sasquatch being around and them trying to court her or something of that nature. And Lady in the Woods, yeah, she's afraid that they may try to come in her home. They're not aggressive, but
They have
yet.
jiggled my door handle. I did forget about that.
Yeah, they did jiggle your door that one night. I forgot about that
I did.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is afraid.
When I'm out here.
Yeah, she's afraid when she's outside. When she's inside, she just don't acknowledge them bothering, coming up to the house and everything like that. And after about 10 o'clock here, there ain't nobody coming up and down the road. So they pretty much have free will to go where they want.
I saw it cross the road tonight. Remember, you were talking about deer, and I said, "Oh, there goes a deer," because I could see legs,
Yeah.
but all I saw was two legs. Now that was funny.
Well, open-minded. It's amazing to know that a lot of people that came tonight do have Bigfoot activity and do have them hanging around, but it's not completely surprising, I should say.
Well, if more people would come out and actually tell their stories, maybe the government will finally acknowledge.
The government's never going to acknowledge them.
Well, there's too much money to be lost in the state parks.
Yeah.
But still, too many people, legitimate people.
Right.
I won't look in it.
That was my feet.
I won't look in it, but it found me. If they don't want to be seen, you will not see it.
That's true.
And if there's one around, you can guarantee there's more than another one. There's more than one.
Oh,
always.
Yeah. Jimmy, yeah, if they want you to smell them, they can emit on demand that stink to ward you off, because a smell like that is just like disgusting. Well, she has a rather bright, should I say, dusted on light out here in the front yard.
Does more than 3/4 of my yard.
Yeah, it does quite a bit of the yard and lights it up real good. And they don't seem to bother mind the light. So they've gotten used to that light. They've probably seen it for quite a long time passing through this area and living in this area when there's food source for them that they want. We've heard coyotes here. We've seen deer. I've seen a bunch of different sized deer tracks. I've seen a few squirrels here. Not very many, which is not really surprising since they will grab a squirrel in a heartbeat.
What about the deer tonight?
Well, the deer. Yeah, there's quite a few deer around here. This is North Carolina, and they do have quite of a big, large deer population.
No, referring to what we heard tonight.
Yeah.
Me and Barbie.
Oh, y'all were talking about. Oh yeah, I didn't say nothing about that,
You
did
sure did not.
Ladies and gentlemen, I walked inside for a moment to get me a glass of Mountain Dew, and come back outside.
I know, I came and got you.
Yeah, I was informed that my presence outside is needed right now, and they heard what sounded like a deer being killed. And I demonstrated what a fawn in distress or a deer in distress sounds like, and they said that was the closest. It was close, but not completely the sound. So they may have caught a deer behind a house somewhere, or they may not have, or they could have been making that sound themselves.
But it was loud.
Yeah, it was.
Bruce, yeah, laser pens do work once or twice as long as you hit them in the eyes, because it tends to blind them. But you got to be careful, because something that will blind them once they get their sight back, they may get a little bit more aggressive toward you because of it. Cameras are your best bet. They don't like cameras at all. A no-glow camera It's something I believe they can't see.
Hmm.
And but the ones that have the flash, they tend to stay away from those. They don't want their picture taken. And Ashton, right now, I'm carrying a 40 cal. I didn't bring my big rifle with me because it is North Carolina and I'd have to have a license, and just didn't have time to get a license to carry it down here.
So let me just give you an example of last night. The crickets,
Yeah,
how loud they are around here.
yeah,
And didn't I tell you once they start showing up how you don't hear? And you notice when we started having activity last night,
right.
how quiet it actually got?
Yeah. Well, if you listen right now, except for the wind and the trees,
There's a few,
you don't hear a lot of crickets.
but
And it's
they're
warm
loud.
down here.
Yeah, and they were loud
Yeah.
last night. But as soon as we started having activity, it was quiet.
Well,
Very.
Bruce, that's a good last ditch effort, but if it only blinds them for a few seconds, because when you turn to run off, they almost instantly get their sight back, and you're running, they're going to chase you. It's just a animal reflex, just like a bear would, or a mountain lion, or anything like that's a predator. They will chase you when they see you running. The best thing to do is stand up to them. They don't like, their society is based upon alpha males and alpha females, and then they have subordinates, and it's like being in the military, actually.
Um, I think if you ignore them and
Yeah.
don't acknowledge them,
Yeah.
you have less threat with them.
Right. Right. Yeah. If you just let them do what they want, unless they're breaking in your house,
Right.
or breaking windows, or coming up and trying to open your door, or trying to push your door in. Yeah, more than the best thing to do is just
Going back like
ignore
we don't know
them,
'em.
and sooner than later they'll leave you alone, and they'll learn to respect you and your and they'll hang back and watch you as a TV.
And they do. They watch me.
Vaughn, shooting in the air is not a real smart thing
No.
to do. First off, you don't know where that bullet's going to land. Shooting into the ground lets them know you have a gun, and yes, it does force them to step back and rethink things.
They pretty much have their boundaries around here, though, if you think about it.
Right. Well, Bruce, I understand what you're saying, buddy. I know you're not saying that you're going to go out and start anything with them. I'm just saying if you get stuck out in outside and they start getting aggressive, yeah, the things you were saying are right. And if you need to and you have a gun on you, um, you know, pull it out of the holster, pull it off your shoulder, whatever, and have it at a ready position. They will see that automatically. They will recognize what it is at that point in time, and they don't like guns. They know to run. They know man can kill them with a gun.
Here's the thing: there are aggressive ones, and there are some that are more passive. Is that a good way of putting it? Unfortunately, we don't know which is which.
Yeah, because you can't. One day a Bigfoot might come out in front of your yard, at the corner of the woods, and the next day it might be at your window, looking in your window, trying to push a window in. It's just on what type of temperament that animal has,
Yeah.
and you don't know.
Now, don't get me
You can
wrong.
never know.
I know they can be aggressive. I'm very leery. I don't think they're pets, and I don't think they're friendly. I think they are an animal, a wild one at that.
Open-minded, we have not gotten any handprints on the house. Evidently, the bamboo that they come through, uh, when they push it out of the way or whatever, it's not leaving anything on their hand to leave on the house.
No. It's not a muddy handprint or anything like that. No.
Sprocket Rocket, I understand about your little about the little mini devices that you're talking about, but it's not a safer alternative to you having personal protection on you if you have Bigfoot in your around your home. It's not a safer alternative. Those things could be indiscriminate. They can go off. A kid can walk into the string for them or pick one up and harm the child. A handgun with someone that knows how to use it and has been trained is a lot safer than those little indiscriminate explosives. Link, yeah, the air horns, yeah, they don't like loud noises because they have pretty high hearing ability, and that would make them run off because they can't tolerate that loud noise. Well, Vaughn, like I said, the best thing is to if there's no one else around, yeah, you can make little. You can actually make your own flashbang grenades and put out for them if they're being aggressive. I don't say put it out, when they're not aggressive. Only on Bigfoot that are aggressive are the ones that I'm telling you to do these things.
Now, cameras
Carry
with
a handgun.
infrared will keep them away from your home, too.
Yeah, because they can see infrared.
Yeah, you can use those. I don't have any cameras.
Right, yeah, she doesn't put anything out.
But I also ignore them because I believe, they're part of nature. And so I figured they've been there all this time.
Well, Joey, weather does play a big part
yes,
in what
does.
they're doing. Nights like tonight, it's windy. That covers their approach and movement. And yeah, it's weather does play a lot into what they do because they can move around. They can hunt better on nights like this. It covers their sound and covers their smell. It dissipates quicker. So yeah, they do get out more whenever there's cooler nights. Their hair covered, so they get hot, just like any other animal does. Right, Tim. There are flashbangs that you can order, but I have a way to make flashbangs that are fairly cheap and inexpensive, and they will. They're easy to trip, for the Bigfoot to trip. But I don't recommend that for if you just want a Bigfoot gone. Just go out to the side of the woods and tell them in a deep, stern voice to leave you alone and go away. That's your best bet. If they're coming up, killing your dogs, hitting your house, trying to break into your home, I suggest the best thing to do then is to arm yourself and be prepared at all times if they come in. Lady in the woods, I'm not sure what you mean, nice attitude, but I'm just trying to be as helpful and to tell people that Bigfoot can be aggressive. I've dealt with them before that are aggressive in my home state and in a couple of different states, and they can be mean.
I know what she's talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, lady. I apologize, ma'am. Yeah, like Candy Apple said, give me a thumbs up, everybody, if you like the show.
wow.
Bruce, I appreciate you understand what I'm trying to say, and I hope everybody takes it with, take what I say to you with a grain of salt. Every instance is different when it comes to Bigfoot. I've been to Indiana, and we have Bigfoot around us, and the only thing they did was mimic a bionic owl, and they come in, checked us out, and then left. I've been into Ohio where the grass man is, and the one time I was in Ohio and went looking for him, it was a hair-raising experience is the best words I can find for it. I want to say that it was a couple of shots and we got out of there, but it wasn't. I expended most of the ammunition that I took with me because the guys that I went with told me that the Bigfoot in that area were aggressive, and in order to get all 6 of us out of there, it took most of my ammunition and most of what they had too. Well, I appreciate it, guys. I really do appreciate the thumbs up, and I appreciate everybody coming. And if nobody has any more questions tonight, I'm going to ask my better half if she has any questions tonight.
I don't have any questions. I
Okay.
just really am thankful to have experienced the things I've experienced this weekend. It's been great.
Southern Belle, you have anything you would like to add to the show tonight, or?
No, I just appreciate that you were able to let me tell my story. There's not a lot of help out there. As you well know. And it validated, not that I needed validation, but with you and Barbie coming down and experience what I go through on a weekly basis, it feels good.
Barry, we're going to try to get some audio tonight. We're going to hang out here for a while. If everybody wants to, after the show's over, you can run over to the Discord. You can find the link on the description of the video. And guys, I appreciate everything, and it warms my heart to know that people out there are listening and taking heed that not every Bigfoot is aggressive, and I can tell you that from personal experience. But guys, when you do run into one that's aggressive, it's best to get out of there as quick as you can. And if they try to come in your home, guys,
Do what you have to do.
you have to defend yourself and your family. We have Bigfoot around my home. They know their limits. They do now. And I didn't have to shoot any one of them or shoot at them or anything of that nature. I just pretty much told them, look, this is my home. You come around my home, it's going to start causing problems. If my animals around my house start disappearing, we're going to have a big issue. And they know the parameters. They don't come around my home. They don't show up at 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm walking outside to get into my pickup anymore. They don't try to stand up there and scream at me at 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm leaving going to work. So we know each other's limitations.
Yep.
And when I say we, I mean me and the Bigfoot. Because I don't let my wife go out before daylight. She stays in the house. If I'm not home, she's in the house sitting with her own personal protection when she's home alone. And I've explained to them that she's very accurate and she's not afraid to use it. And she knows where everything else is, and it's always loaded when I leave. So
Tell them how
I,
surprised you were about the all the activity you got last night. That's the main thing, because that's what I was really worried about. You know,
yeah,
you coming down and nothing.
right. Well, guys, she did have concerns about us coming down and Bigfoot not, the Bigfoot not coming out to play. In other words, but from all the activity and what I've seen and what I've heard last night, we haven't heard anything tonight. I think they're just kind of laying back and watching tonight, which is what we want them to do here. I don't want them coming down and bothering my friend. And but all the activity we got last night, all the sounds, the wood knocks, the whoops, whistles, seeing the one back behind her house, and I've been in this 35 years and I didn't think to take video, and that's my fault, guys. I should have made sure I got a video of it. But I am very happy to say that my friend is not lying one bit about what is going on here at her home, and she's 100% truthful. I've not found anything to say that she's not being truthful about it. I've found footprints, I've found tree twists, I've found beds, I have found little hides that they've made. So, guys, there's Bigfoot here in North Carolina, and guys, we're going to stop the live feed here.
I do want to clarify something for him, though.
Okay, go right ahead.
He said I was located in Sanford. Wait. That's not exactly true. I will tell you this much. I am close to Hall River and Jordan Lake. It is very wooded.
Mm-hmm.
I took his wife around today to see just how dense the woods are in the area where I live at. So we use Sanford because it is the closest city to me, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind, that even though, and I'm isolated the way my home is situated from the road, even though I do have a few neighbors on either side, you cannot see me where my house is.
Okay, guys, we're going to end it on that note, and I appreciate everybody coming. And this is the Old Bear signing off tonight. And y'all have a blessed evening. And we will see y'all
Over in Discord.
on the Discord tonight. So join us there. Thank you, guys.